1 week. In 1 week, we're going to see the crime in New York City. We're going to see the amount of crime that took place within 1 week in the city. Now, growing up in New York City, I'm not going to lie, bro. Like, born and raised in New York, bro. I live in Jersey, so I'm basically still in New York. It's just right there. Family still there. Brooklyn, like, come on now. My thing is, I didn't move to Jersey because New York was just so violent. I moved to Jersey because New York is just so expensive. Now, I don't understand one city that's super, super expensive could possibly be so violent. I never understood that.
Shootout in Brooklyn.
What? Why would it ever start off like that? Like, the video just started. Shootout in Brooklyn. Like, damn, man, I gotta pray for my city, yo. What's happening? What's happening?
Week. A broad daylight shootout in Brooklyn. Plus a
kids around, innocent bystanders, people, mothers, grandmothers, but y'all don't care. Y'all not walking up no more. Y'all just
slashing caught on camera.
Sometimes there's some sketchy characters that come on board.
And a botched robbery turns deadly. Right now, Fox 5's Crime in the City. Here are some of the crimes from across the 5 boroughs. We begin this week in Brooklyn.
Of course they gotta start in Brooklyn. Why you can't start in Manhattan? They can seem like Brooklyn just the worst borough of them all. I hate that sometimes with the news. I mean, damn, Brooklyn bad, but we ain't that bad. Start off in Manhattan, where they cutting people body parts and all that.
At the scene of a tragic double stabbing outside a Park Slope deli.
May these twin girls rest in peace. I covered this. Go look at that reaction video. They caught the guy too.
An unimaginable heartbreak for a family tonight after 19-year-old twin sisters were both stabbed in Park Slope early this morning. One of the sisters tonight has succumbed to her injuries. Fox 5's Kendall Green has more on the brutal attack.
She's taking it real hard. You know, we never expect nothing like this to happen. What are you going to do?
Alfonso Goodson is facing a level of grief he never imagined he'd feel after getting a sobering call Sunday about his granddaughter, 19-year-old Samaya Spain.
Said, Granddaddy, Samaya got stabbed and she died.
Or because she ain't want to give her phone number or her Instagram away, something crazy. Like, no, she gave her Instagram to make the guy feel, safe. And, well, not even to make the guy feel more comfortable. I guess, like, yo, all right, here's my Instagram, leave me alone type shit. And he still wanted the phone number. It's sick.
What was your reaction?
I couldn't believe it. My wife started crying and everything.
Police got the call about a stabbing around 2:20 Sunday morning after someone stabbed Samaya and her twin sister right outside of the Natural Plus bodega in Park Slope, Brooklyn. Mohammed Albar, who works at the store, watched the girls grow up.
They're very nice girls. I know the family. It's very nice. So sad to see one of them gone, one of them, she passed away.
A witness on scene says some guys were hanging out at the store, hitting on the group of girls who just walked in.
One of them guys had complimented.
And let me just say this: if I'm niggas from Brooklyn, but if I'm walking and all that, and I see and I'm not in my hood, like if I ain't in Crown Heights where I was born and raised, or if I ain't in Flatbush where I end up moving, during my teenage years, if I'm not in an area that I'm familiar with, it's a bunch of just dirty hood niggas in front of the store, nigga, I'm not going to that store. It ain't even about, you soft. It's about avoiding conflict. I try to avoid conflict as much as possible because it's bigger than me. Cause you say something to me, now I worry about who on my side that love me, that feels away. So it's like I try to just avoid conflict. We gotta avoid conflict. You see how they just say, it's a group of guys standing in front of the store, and in their mind they probably like, this is my hood, so nah, this ain't none of our hoods, really and truly. So I take it back. Never get too comfortable.
The 2 girls that had walked in with their friends, and they said no.
The groups started going back and forth arguing before one of the men walked down the block angrily, according to witnesses. Minutes later, one of the men in his 20s, they say, came banging and kicking on the bodega doors, with the girls still inside. Workers locked the door until he walked away again. When they unlocked the doors, that's when the attack happened.
A guy in all black had stabbed one of the girls in her neck and the other in her arm and ran,
leaving the knife he used right there on scene. Officials expect Samaya's twin sister to be okay, while the workers who witnessed the brutal attack, too, have their scars.
When I came in, they went out. They look like in their faces like so sad about it.
The news reinforcing nearly every father's fear.
I think every father would think about something like this happening.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the worst call you could get. Like, you know, something happened to your daughter.
Now, police have yet to make an arrest in the case. Anyone who may have seen anything or know anything
Nah, they got him. They got the guy. So let's get back to the next story.
about the suspect is asked to come forward.
Staying in Brooklyn, police make an arrest after a chaotic and deadly shooting in East Flatbush.
We're learning new information.
Oh, I know exactly where that's at. That's by my grandma's crib. Yo, this might sound crazy, but I'm glad that like my grandmother lived a nice, healthy life. You know what I mean? She's no longer here. May she rest in peace. But I'm glad she didn't have to wake up and see shit like this, man. Because now it's different. You know what I mean? Growing up in my days, granted, it was violence in Brooklyn, but niggas used to walk up. If a nigga in Brooklyn had a problem with you, he walk up. Take the problem out to you. Now these niggas, y'all so scary. Y'all want to shoot from a distance. And y'all have no aim. Y'all have no aim. You can't even afford the gun you got. So you don't have proper gun training. Let's talk about it.
Information about that police-involved shooting in Brooklyn where the suspect was killed by police as he was chasing two other people.
So here's where it gets complicated. The man the gunman was chasing has now been arrested. Let's get right to Good Day's Briella Tomasetti. She joins us live from that scene in East Flatbush with the latest. Briella, good morning.
Yeah, Tashani and Dan, this is an interesting update to say the least. That man, 20-year-old Jeremiah Adams, was arrested in connection with an entirely different case on charges including attempted murder. Now, he hasn't been charged.
At 20 is crazy. What's happening?
In relation to this shooting, considering police are still trying to piece together exactly what happened in the moments leading up to that deadly confrontation. An unexpected twist in the police-involved shooting that left a 20-year-old gunman dead after he opened fire at two people on a busy Brooklyn street.
Open fire at two people on a busy Brooklyn street. This is our mothers, our cousins, our nieces, our nephews. Open fire on a busy Brooklyn street. This shit ain't this. Come on now. What we talking about? And this is the shit that get me mad, nigga. It's 2024. You're not getting away with it. There's cameras everywhere. You're not getting away with it. I'm sorry. It's on YouTube. It's like, hello, we're looking at you commit a crime on YouTube. What is happening? Stop. Use your head.
Moments leading up to that deadly confrontation. An unexpected twist in the police-involved shooting that left a 20-year-old gunman dead after he opened fire at two people on a busy Brooklyn street. The NYPD has confirmed that one of the people he was shooting at, 19-year-old Jeremiah Adams, has been arrested for attempted murder, robbery, and criminal possession of a weapon in relation to an unrelated March 7th case in Brownsville. According to the New York Post, who has cited police sources, the gunman was chasing after Adams for mugging him moments earlier. Ring camera video shows the moment gunfire was exchanged between police and the shooter, sending people running and ducking for cover.
Look at that. Look at that, bro. Them bullets are just flying, bro. This is the goddamn residential area. You got people cribs. All of them bullets are just flying.
Leaders say 4 uniformed officers were in an unmarked patrol car near the intersection of East 57th Street and Remsen Avenue just before 6 o'clock Monday evening, when they were alerted to an active shooter situation. After canvassing the area for a few minutes, they rounded a corner and located the 20-year-old gunman who was running down the street and firing off shots at two people. Police allege that's when the 4 officers jumped out of their car and returned fire. The gunman was shot multiple times and rushed to Kings County Hospital, where he died from his injuries. His 9mm handgun was recovered from the scene.
You know, someone walking by could get hit. You know what I mean? They had to.
Exactly. And it's sad that young man had to lose his life because he's 20. He ain't know no better. I blame the OG. The OG put the gun in his hand. I blame the OG. He's 20. That boy don't even got a fully developed brain to know better than to just start shooting out in broad daylight in Brooklyn in 2024 with his cameras everywhere. His brain ain't fully developed. I blame the OG.
To do what they had to do. That was the point.
East Flatbush resident Nathaniel Nierenberg's pickup truck was hit by stray bullets. 60-year-old mechanic Henry Massop was also injured during...
Look at this. This is somebody's father, bro. This shit is lame. This shit is lame.
crossfire. Massup's friend and colleague Ricky Thomas, who didn't want to show his face on camera, watched him get shot twice.
So I was calling Henry to tell him, let's go see who this guy is. When I looked, I saw Henry start to stumble. So I grabbed him. See a gunshot wound through his side, then one in his arms. If I didn't walk away, I probably would have got shot.
Now, it's still unclear who shot Massuf. In other words, if the gunfire came from the active shooter or the responding officers. However, we did speak with neighbors who visited Massuf in the hospital. They say that he is in incredibly good spirits, and right now he's just feeling very lucky to be alive.
Moving to Queens, a man is slashed in the face aboard an LIRR train. The whole thing caught on camera.
A wild scene captured on board the Long Island Railroad.
That's right, man slashed in the face.
No, that's crazy, because I always thought the Long Island Railroad was safe. I ain't gonna lie. Like, growing up in Brooklyn, like, well, not the one that you see in the Heights. Not that one. You know that stop, that train station in Long Island Railroad in the Heights? Hell no. That shit look like you ain't gonna make it out alive if you walk down in that motherfucker. Hell no. But I'm talking about, like, just looking at the Long Island Railroad, you're like, oh, wow, that looks so nice. Look how, you know, it's nice. It looks clean. I didn't know people be giving it up on the Long Island Railroad. That's just news to me. Pay attention.
Faced by a suspect who tried to block him from getting on the train.
Fox 8's Arthur Chian talked to riders at Grand Central taking the same route today.
The uncommon outbreak of violence on the LIRR was captured on cell phone video. A rider being slashed in the face on a train that left Grand Central at 3:22 in the afternoon, heading for Far Rockaway. Police say a 32-year-old man was blocking the doorway when a 27-year-old tried to get on board at Sutphin Boulevard. Words were exchanged, then the 32-year-old followed the victim, took out a box cutter and started slashing him. Riders were stunned to silence, most of them just trying to get away. A third man runs towards the assault and tries to break it up. Police arrive and arrest Benneth Ekwegbalu, a resident of Jamaica, Queens. Tonight, he's been charged with assault, menacing, criminal possession of a weapon, and harassment. LIRR riders on the same line today reacting to what happened.
Yo, shout out to that guy, though. Like, he really stepped in, you know, knowing that. Because he probably would have killed him. You see, they said it was poking him up. He probably would have killed him if he ain't stepped in. So shout out to him, man. That matters.
It's pretty surprising. Usually you hear about the subways, but LIRR is pretty.
I told you, see what he said? I said growing up in Brooklyn, like, you know what I mean? Somebody would have got slashed on a train, like the A train, the B train, whatever. We'd have been like, oh, yeah, that's normal. But he just said, yo, the Long Island Railroad, nah, I ain't think niggas was giving it up on that.
Most times, but yeah, sometimes there's some sketchy characters that come on board.
I feel like that's something I would see, like, if you take like the 2 or 3, like the MTA.
All right, now why he got to violate? So that's something I would see on the 2 or the 3 train. Like, he tries. That's something I expect from the hood niggas.
Well, I know this is the MTA, but like those other trains, but like I feel like on the Lure you don't see that type of stuff like at all.
On the Lure? Boy, shut up. Don't nobody call it the Lure. Nigga, it's the Long Island Railroad, LIRR. And we don't even say that really and truly. The Long Island Railroad. The fuck?
Oh.
Last week, a violent encounter unfolded on an A
that.
train during rush hour in Brooklyn. A man in dark clothing menaces a subway rider. The situation devolves with the same man pulling out a gun. The passenger he targets is able to wrestle the gun away from him and shoots his attacker. Whatever sparked the violence on the A train or the LIRR, Ahmed has some good advice for everyone.
Just be courteous. You know, we're all going through the hustle and bustle of New York. So, you know, understand that some people are having a bad day, some people are having a good day. So just be courteous to each other. That's all.
If there is an upside,
that's what That's how I feel, man. Just be courteous, be humble, be kind.
Side to what happened here, it's how quickly the suspect was arrested. The NYPD tells us 2 off-duty NYPD officers happened to be on that train, and it was those 2 officers who made that arrest. A quick resolution in this case, while the more complicated one of ongoing violence in transit continues.
Nah, but you never know what nobody going through. Like, he had to be going through something, like, for real. Because for him to just, you blocking the door, just start stabbing him, he must have been going through the worst.
Now we head to Manhattan, where a popular Israeli restaurant on the Upper West Side is targeted by vandals.
Police on the Upper West Side are...
What the? We just watch people get their head knocked off their shoulders. Serious crime. Somebody just got slashed on Long Island Railroad, and they talk about a popular restaurant in Manhattan just got vandalized. I don't give a fuck.
We're investigating after a popular Israeli restaurant is tagged with graffiti.
That's right. You can see here red paint splashed all over the building, and the words form "line here to support genocide" were written on the.
Oh no, that's crazy. Oh no, that's crazy. I thought it was just gonna be on something else. You know how niggas in the hood do graffiti and all that? Oh no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Sidewalk in front of it.
Fox 5's Chris Welch talked to the owner about what happened.
It's just scary and it's rude, you know? It's like, I don't know, I'd have no words. I cannot find the right word. I'm just terrified.
When Ben Zara showed up for her shift at Effie's Cafe Sunday morning, the paint and graffiti was still wet. She knew it had just happened.
Red blood paints, like, sprinkled all of here, dripping, and the black sign about genocide, and the Free Gaza sign over here.
But 24 hours later, thanks to support from a community armed with power washers, it is essentially gone. And that community showed up once again hours later, filling the tiny West 96th Street Cafe. How hard was it to get a table today?
It took a while, but it was well worth the wait.
I want to show that when these horrible things happen, we're just going to unify, and it's just going to embolden us to do more and to support more.
I never go out for lunch, but when we see senseless vandalism to Jewish establishments, it gives all of the motivation to go and support.
What makes New York the best place in the world is out of many, one. If I don't come here in solidarity with my Jewish neighbor, then I am not only a coward, but I'll put myself in a vulnerable situation.
We have to all oppose anti-Semitism as we have to oppose racism of any type.
Congressman Jerry Nadler, the most senior Jewish member of the House, had a message for those who did this.
We will oppose you, and you should be more intelligent. People should be judged individually and not as members of groups. And you've got a lot to learn.
Now, as to the search for those responsible, the NYPD tells us they have notified the Hate Crimes Task Force, but the investigation remains ongoing.
Back in Queens,
They gonna find him.
police are on the hunt for the phony delivery driver linked to at least 9 break-ins across the borough.
Well, one of the victims is a 35-year-old single mother. She is devastated by this. She says the suspect stole $9,000 from her. And now...
$9,000? Now, Miss Lady, why you just got $9,000 just chilling around the crib? Y'all think she mean $9,000 like worth of items? Let me see.
She is behind on her rent as well as other bills.
It's been a nightmare, honestly.
35-year-old Estella Eilis says the burglar broke into her apartment in Sunnyside, Queens through a bathroom window and rummaged through her drawers and closets.
He took almost like $9,000 cash.
It was her savings. She says she withdrew from the bank to deposit into another bank. Money she says took years to save from her job at Trader Joe's. Money she desperately needed for her 12-year-old daughter.
Man, he just messed up my life, I work very hard every day.
The NYPD says the suspect has been disguising himself as an Amazon worker, wearing an Amazon delivery vest and
Yo, that nigga really breaking into people's homes, yo. Watch out for him if you live in Queens, yo. Watch out for this guy. Look, watch out for this bum in the fake Amazon clothes.
breaking into apartment windows in Sunnyside, Astoria, and Long Island City, Queens, stealing more than $32,000 in cash, jewelry, and other property. The serial burglar started hitting apartments a year ago in January and has struck at least 9 times. The most recent was March 5th.
He took my jewelry, he took like speakers, headphones, my Apple Watch.
The NYPD is asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect. They want to get this guy off the streets before he hurts another person like Estella.
It's been very hard for me. Like now I'm back up on my rent. I hope he enjoy all the money that he took from me.
And finally, just outside the city, a robbery takes a turn for the worse in Mount Vernon, leaving 2 people dead.
Well, new developments tonight in the deadly shooting outside of a warehouse in Mount Vernon.
All right, 5 men have now been charged with murder and the robbery gone wrong, while authorities continue to look for more suspects. Fox 5's Richard Giacobas live outside the federal courthouse in White Plains with the latest tonight. Richard.
Steve, Natasha, it was a 36-hour manhunt that ended in the Bronx today following that robbery at a Mount Vernon warehouse, a deadly robbery. 5 men brought here to the federal courthouse in White Plains after they attempted to rob a warehouse. A robbery again that went horribly wrong. FBI agents have been on their trail since early Tuesday morning. Authorities say it was outside this warehouse on South 5th Avenue in Mount Vernon at around 10 o'clock Monday night. 2 customers pull up, placing an order for a bunch of vapes and hookahs. According to the criminal complaint, the warehouse sells unlicensed marijuana and nicotine products. Officials say it took workers at the warehouse 2 hours to prepare this order. Then at around midnight, warehouse employees say once the order was ready, they bring it outside. That's when more than a dozen people exit a nearby van and pull out guns. These images released from surveillance video by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Words are exchanged, according to the complaint, before a gunfight between the warehouse employees and the suspects break out. One of the robbers and a worker were killed in the shootout. After an extensive search that involved FBI agents, the NYPD, and members of the Mount
FBI agents, NYPD, they got a lot going on.
Vernon Police Department, investigators located surveillance video that tracked the van to a Bronx apartment in the Belmont section. They were able to arrest 5 men from these surveillance photos captured in that apartment. Joseph Perez, Joan Diaz Feliz, Iario Contreras, Herpe Diaz Feliz, and Victor Jimenez, all charged with multiple counts, including murder and robbery. According to the criminal complaint, on the charge of murder in a drug trafficking crime, all 5 men could face the death penalty or life in prison. Now, we're going to show you a picture of that U.S. Attorney's Office put out. They're still searching for other suspects in this case. This is the alleged gunman known as Marcos. This is his photo. If you know him or anything about this case, you're asked to call the FBI at 2.
Hey, innocent until proven guilty. I subscribe for the vibe.